Welcome to the Calgary Emergency Medicine Point-of-Care Ultrasound tutorial on the basics of using Qpath. This is part 2 of a series of tutorials that will outline the function of the point-of-care imaging archiving system called Qpath. This tutorial will focus on logging into Qpath, some orientation of the layout of the software, and the basics of how to go about reviewing images. In order to log into Qpath from an AHS computer, you'll need to open an Internet Explorer page and type in ws qpath 01/qpath. I know it's not the most convenient web page to remember, so what we're working on getting is an icon placed on the desktop of the non-Sunray computers in the physician offices at each of the sites as a start. That way you'll just need to click on the icon to open the web page. So once you've typed that in, you get a internet page that looks like this. Simply put in your AHS username and your password, for which mine is becoming ridiculous, and you end up with the user interface. Now this will look a little bit different depending on your user status, whether you're an administrator versus an attending versus a resident. The first thing I've done is hide 2 columns with patient information for privacy purposes. That is the patient ID tab, which is the ID entered for each patient when recording scans, and the patient name column, which is usually blank, but some people prefer to enter this information manually so they can more easily look up patients in Qpath later. So let's look at some of the other basic columns starting from the left. The default of the exam date tab is to show those ultrasound studies that have been performed on the day you log in. There's a drop-down menu where you can choose various time frames from today to all exams completed. Just so we have some scans on this page, I'm going to choose all those scans that have been done this month. The next column to mention is the operator column. This is the person who logged in as the referring doctor on the ultrasound machine when the study was done. Next to it is the attending column, which is the reading doctor when logging in. This is generally used when the residents sign in as the referring doctor but want their staff to review the images as the reading doctor at a later time. As you can see here, Kasia Lenz has put herself in as the referring doctor and myself in as the reading doctor so that I am linked to those exams and I can review them easily at another time. The last column I'll mention today is the classification column. This column allows us to flag certain exams as being positive or potentially interesting studies. This highlights the entire row with the associated color of the selected exam as being positive from whatever you choose from this drop-down menu. For example, if we scroll down this month, we will see there are some positive studies that have been labeled. This one for appendicitis, this one for abdominal free fluid, etc. With any of these columns, you can choose to search based on clicking from the desired item from the drop-down menu. For example, I could choose all exams from the exam date column. Operator, I could choose myself, which brings up all the studies that I've done. And then in the classification column, I could choose, say, biliary stones, and this will bring up all of the studies that I have done that are positive for biliary stones. Now let's look at some images. There are 2 ways to review images associated with each exam. First, you'll need to highlight the exam that you're interested in reviewing by clicking anywhere on that row. Next, you can either click on the images icon, which is here, to get the images in this view. This has a large viewing screen as well as the exams, the various clips and still images displayed on the right. To return to the main page, simply press List on the top left corner here. The second way to review images is to click on the study date. This brings up a slightly different view with the same clips and images displayed below the main viewer and the quality assurance review sheets to the right, as well as the QA reviewer comments if you're an administrator. We'll go over the QA process in a later tutorial. So that's it. We've discussed the very basics of logging into Qpath and reviewing images. Stay tuned for more tutorials on various Qpath topics such as the QA process, how to export images and clips, and how to access Qpath from home. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.